Hey guys, welcome back to the Meters YouTube channel. Today I'm going to do a little something special. I'm going to show you guys basically the gift that I'm going to give to both of my grandmothers for Christmas. So Christmas has passed, obviously, if you're watching this, but I haven't had a chance to see grandmas, but I'm going to be able to finally see them this week, and I'm going to give them ice cream. They are both pretty addicted to sugar, and I don't really think that it's necessarily the best thing for them. One of my grandmas has early onset dementia and Alzheimer's, and from firsthand experience, I can say without an ounce of doubt that I've seen a severe decline in her cognitive health since her uptake in sugar has increased. So I thought this year, that the best gift I could give family members is the gift of food, wholesome, real food, meat. But I don't think that grandmas would really appreciate meat. So I thought, how can I kind of meet them where they're at? And using a harm reduction approach, I thought that the Strong Sisters recipe for ice cream would be perfect. So if you guys have Instagram, I totally recommend you check out the Strong Sisters. I believe that they also have a pretty awesome YouTube channel. This recipe I found on their YouTube channel, and it's a fairly easy recipe. I don't have an ice cream maker, so I'm going to show you what that looks like what the whole process looks like if you don't have an ice cream maker. The recipe is almost carnivore. I'm going to go over the ingredients, but this is a really great recipe if you want to kind of share this as a gift, or if your friends come over and you want to make them a little treat. It's really I think the better alternative of ice cream than the regular ice creams that you would find in store, which have tons of ingredients that you can't even read, let alone understand. So this is a very simple, clean recipe. So let's go over the ingredients. So I'm going to be making them ice cream, both grandma's ice cream, 1 jar each. So 1 jar about this size. I don't know the exact size of this jar, but what I do know is that this jar has exactly 2 cups of raw cream. So that's one of the ingredients that I'll be using: raw cream, honey, vanilla, glycine. The glycine is optional. I'm just gonna add it in there because I know that they love that sweet taste. So like the sweeter I can make this ice cream without actually using sugar, I think they'll be able to appreciate it. And salt, very important, and eggs. So in the meantime, as I prep everything, I've actually got an empty jar this size in the freezer so that it can get cold. So if you have a container, like a glass container that you're gonna store your ice cream in, you can go ahead and put it in your freezer so that it can get cold. So when your ice cream mixture is ready to be poured in, it's already gonna be poured into a cold glass container, and that will speed up the freezing process, as it does take a little bit of time without an ice cream maker. So let's get started. So first thing you want to do is just pour 2 cups of cream into your blender. And we are going to need 3 egg yolks. So I'm just going to grab a little bowl. So I can separate my yolks. So I've had this ice cream myself, and it is phenomenal. I'm really glad to have discovered this ice cream because I'm not gonna lie to you, I do still crave um, certain sweet stuff that are not animal based, like the ice cream that you find in the grocery store. And there's been a few occasions where I have gone off track and, had that ice cream from the grocery store, and I've suffered for weeks on end afterwards with the side effects. I mean, you really don't think that food can affect your physical and your mental health until your gut is healed, and then you try to reintroduce new foods. And I want to put an emphasis on man-made foods, because when when you buy things from the grocery store that you have ingredients that you can't understand, you have to understand that those ingredients are man-made. They're not natural. Um, they were not, you know, created with your health in mind. So when you take that risk and you eat those foods, when your gut is healed, you might suffer the consequences. I certainly always do. I'm very, very hypersensitive like that. Like I will, if I have certain types of coffee, I'll get flakes on in my scalp. Like not dandruff, but like flakes and little scabs. So like my body will tell me immediately what it likes and what it doesn't. But back to what I was saying, I've been tempted to have ice cream, and I've had ice cream from the grocery store. I've suffered the consequences, but finding out about this recipe kind of brought me a little bit of light that I could have this ice cream once every few months without, being in crippling pain afterwards. But still, that being said, I do not tolerate dairy well, so I really have to be disciplined with how often I have something like this. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm making this right now and I want some, but I'm gonna have to fight that urge, and I'm gonna have to replace that craving with something else. I'm probably just gonna make some egg yolk muffins or something, or just eat some bacon and call it a day. Um, I don't know when the next time will be that I'm gonna have this ice cream, because it is that good, but I'll have to plan it out. I don't think that I can have it again though for the next 3 months. I had it around Christmas and that was enough for me. I definitely do feel the side effects from dairy, the negative side effects, so I gotta kind of back off a bit and just practice my self-control. So I'm just gonna wash my hands and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, next step, I'm gonna add some vanilla. I use about 1/4 of the lid. That's a little bit more than that, but I think that's okay. It'll add really nice flavor. And I'd say the same thing about, that might be a bit too much. Some back in there. About 1/4 of a tablespoon of salt. And glycine, I'm gonna do, this is not necessary. If you don't have glycine, you don't need it. When I made it for Daniel and I for Christmas, I didn't use glycine, and it was sweet enough. But for the grandmas, to give them that extra kick, I'll add some glycine. So I'm gonna do a tablespoon. And then with the honey, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons. I added a bit too much honey when I made the ice cream for Daniel and I for Christmas, and you could really tell that there was a little bit too much honey. So I would, just to be safe, just add 2 tablespoons, and then once you mix everything up, you can always add more later. And just a tip, be careful, because the batter will taste different when it's not frozen as opposed to when it's frozen. So when I tasted the batter when it was not frozen, it didn't taste that sweet. But then when it started to freeze, I kind of took a little taste test and I was like, ooh, I think I put a bit too much honey. So just to be safe, I think 2 tablespoons is the right amount. I wonder if this will be sweet enough for grandmas though, because I feel like when you're so used to having like a sugar overload, what others consider, like what I consider sweet, they probably don't consider sweet, but hopefully they do. So I've got everything in here. You can see the honey's stuck to the top a little bit, but it will all blend. So now it's time for my favorite part. It's time to blend. Okay, let's check it out. So I got the smallest blender in the world. You can see it's filled to the top. I really don't want to taste it, so I'm gonna get Daniel to do a little taste test to see if it's ready. You wanna come and try it out? We'll see what he thinks. Let me know if it's sweet enough. Careful.
It's perfect.
It's good? Okay.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You want some? Okay, so I think it's good to go. I trust Daniel. So that was pretty much the hardest part of this recipe. I'm going to show you the next step now. So this is the jar that I took out from the freezer. As you can see, it's nice and frosty, it's cold, it's ready to go. I'm going to pour the mixture in here. I might have a little bit more ice cream than fits in this jar just because I've added the egg and some other ingredients in there, but I'll just pour as much as I can. Perfect. So now what we want to do is put this in the freezer, and I'm not gonna, sorry about that. I'm not gonna put the lid on. I'm gonna just check on this in about 30 minutes because you want to keep stirring the ice cream to kind of replicate what an ice cream machine or ice cream maker would do. So every 30 minutes, I'm gonna check up on the ice cream and stir it with a spoon and make sure that it will all evenly freeze. So I'll check back in with you guys in 30 minutes. Okay, so I've taken the ice cream out of the freezer. It's been 30 minutes, and I'm just gonna stir it up. Most likely it hasn't, yeah, there's no freezing happening. My freezer is kind of weak, so I'm just gonna mix it up regardless, and then I'm gonna put it back in the freezer and just keep checking on it every 30 minutes and make sure you stir evenly. So see you in 30. Okay, time to mix it up some more so we can see it's kind of freezing up. So I always want to make sure that we get the edges because that's where it tends to freeze up first, around the edges, around the outside, and then just kind of mix it all up, get that cool temperature distributed evenly, and put it back in the freezer for another 30, and we'll check back in then. Welcome back. So we are really getting somewhere now. You can see that it's starting to freeze up. It's looking like ice cream. So I'm just gonna mix it really well. Scrape everything off of the sides of the jar. I think in about 1 more hour, this ice cream will be really good and I can just leave it alone until I see my grandma. Here we go. I think this is the last mixing I'll have to do. Yeah. This guy's ready to go. Ice cream's ready for grandma. So I'm just gonna pop this in the freezer. I'm gonna see my grandma in 2 days, and I'm gonna put the lid on it. I'm gonna buy some nice little sticker that I can stick to the jar and just write for grandma, ice cream, vanilla, and yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Please check out the other two on the screen and have a great day.